Welcome to the source. Happy Chinese New Year! Welcome to the Telesell Living podcast, The Source, your source of inspiration and good things. My name is Hannah Telesell, and today we're celebrating the Spring Festival, the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year. But why do I do this, you might wonder? I was first introduced to Chinese medicine by a co-worker when I received acupuncture to reduce stress and stomach issues in late 1994. In 1995, I began to practice Qigong and meditation and talked regularly with a well-known master about life, love, and spirituality. He shared the Chinese zodiac with me, where I learned that I was born in the year of the metal dog and what this signifies. Just like with Western astrology, I emphasize looking at the various signs as various personality types, where some go better together than others, and where all have various traits that we can learn about to help get to know someone better, rather than seeing it as superstitious predictions. Not surprisingly, I am hence both loyal like a dog and persistent like sharp metal, which I think fits well with who I am. My dad's late wife actually studied Chinese, and they made a longer trip there, so since then the Chinese culture has somewhat evoked my curiosity. It was also the Tao Te Ching and the teachings of Confucius that was part of my early spiritual seeking. Last year was the year of the snake, which naturally meant to shed all layers of our lives, beliefs, habits, things, and structures, as well as relationships. In my own life, this, for example, has meant to ensure that I haven't acquired something that I don't want to keep or bring with me. I usually give away, sell, or discard any items in my wardrobe that no longer fits me, are broken or worn out, or that I no longer like, regularly, which also makes room for new. This is something I can also apply for anything that I have in my home. And this is also one of the principles of Feng Shui, another aspect of Chinese medicine, a teaching about how one can organize one's life, home and office to make the energy flow better, to feel better, and to attract more positive things that one desires. This flow chart represents the balance between wind and water and can be placed like a map on a room, apartment, or house, where each direction represents an area in our life as well as a natural element and color, as well as considering the actual location of where one lives. It's this flow chart or map that is called a bakwa and is shaped like an octagon that is the inspiration for the logo I made for Telesell Living Center. Practicing Qigong is built on the same principles, but with our own bodies, meridians, and energy field to ensure longevity and good health. You can also apply this on the times of day and night for when certain of our organs work the best and when to preferably eat and drink what and how to feel better. For me, that means to avoid too cold drinks and fried food and instead choose boiled and less spicy dishes. And now it's time for a new year. Our Western New Year on January 1st is typically a day when I set intentions and make goals after summarizing how my last year has been, but at the same time does happen in total winter darkness and often feels accompanied by our society's stress. Wherefore I like to see the Chinese New Year, that also is referred to as the Spring Festival, as a more relaxed opportunity to celebrate and cement my wishes and goals, hopefully in alignment with what it said it will bring. The key to remember is that when many people believe in the same thing or in the same power, it often becomes easier to manifest. So why not take advantage of it as inspiration and good tidings to use for creating things that can benefit both myself and others. This year is the year of the fire horse, and auspicious for people like me who are born in the year of the dog. It's said that it will bring fast and swift changes, more momentum, and more power and passion. You can use it as inspiration by thinking about what a horse represents to you. I used to horseback ride a lot growing up. For some 8 years, I practically lived in the stables, riding, competing, cleaning, and grooming horses while both learning and teaching theory. I even began studying horse psychology on my own and practiced whispering to my favorite pony, which, for example, enabled me to not become bucked off for my first 2 years. And another time with his half-brother, I asked him to not run too fast over the obstacle course or I wouldn't be allowed to ride him anymore. The next time, he was like a completely different horse and I've never ridden better and got a ribbon. To me, a horse is a steadfast companion, but with a free will, symbolizing both freedom and personality. With that, I can focus on bringing forth more of mine this new year, to perhaps claim more of my righteous space and time in the spotlight, and to be more action-oriented in my approach and take practical steps to build my dream life. This is, of course, always depending on what others may or may not do as well, like decisions by lawmakers and authorities. But while having this in mind and be prepared, we can't let governments rule our lives. They are supposed to serve us. A horse is also very steady on the hoof, through uncharted territories and wilderness, so making sure I know where I put down my feet will probably become more important to consider with care as I interpret it. Which animal of the Chinese zodiac were you born in? What does a horse represent to you? And how can you incorporate more of that into your life? To see how I plan to build Telecell Living Center, check out my webpage at telecelliving.com. And the next episode of the Source podcast is released on February 28th to honor our lives by honoring time in this shorter month that we sometimes get an extra day for. Tune in on the 28th for your next dose of inspiration. Thanks for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe for more life coaching tips. And remember, care about yourself, others, and Earth. Aloha!